Welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. It is amazing to see you tonight. Welcome to the Sit Down with Yolonda Jay. 8 years ago, Lisa Lake did not set out to become an advocate. She stepped into leadership because someone had to make the hard decisions, build the structure, and stay when the work got heavy. Tonight's Sit Down is about what leadership looked like when lived experience becomes the classroom. Now, the sit down is where leaders, dreamers, and entrepreneurs pull up a chair to show how they stop sitting on their gifts and start standing in their purpose. And tonight's show is no different. Tonight, we are joined by a founder whose leadership has been shaped by, again, time and responsibility and lived experience. Lisa Lake is the co-founder of executive director of TELIC Empowerment, an organization she helped build 8 years ago alongside three other African American mothers who saw firsthand what happens when systems are not designed with families like theirs in mind. As a wife of 24 years and a mother of four, three with exceptionalities, her leadership has been forged in real time, balancing service, sustainability, and growth. Tonight's conversation is not about advocacy, it's about leadership built over time and what it costs to stay committed. I would like to introduce to some and present to others my friend. My network is dope, okay? Lisa Lake. Wait, Lisa. I'm gonna get this right one time. I got a clapping sound. Let me do it. There it goes. One day I'm gonna be able to hit that button on cue. I never do hit that button on cue, I swear. As welcome in. I am so excited to have you because honestly, DEI has kind of been one of those hot button topics in the last, I mean, it always has, but in the last few years during this administration, it's become even more prevalent as
Yeah.
we have seen the transition of DEI happen here in America. But 8 years ago, before all of it was really, really popular and front and center, you saw something happening in your family that you needed. Tell us about the what leadership looked like in the first few earliest days of TELIC.
First of all, thank you so much, Yolonda Jay, for inviting me to be here to talk and to sit down with you about something that is so passionate to me, so important to me, and something that I feel like it's just like fueled my entire purpose.
Wow.
One of the things that really brought Telic Empowerment together was it wasn't just me. I am one of four. There are four co-founders for Telic Empowerment, and the three other ladies that do this organization with me, we all have a child with a disability, and that's really what brought us all together. And it was something that we felt very, very passionate about the lack of resources, supports, education, information, and really just pure, just parent interaction with other families of color that had these similar struggles that we were dealing with. And so the early days of TELIC really were about sitting down and just deciding like this is something that we don't want to just have for ourselves. This is something that we want to do for our entire community. And um, the start of TELIC Empowerment, our mission is teach, empower, listen, include, and care for families of children with special needs. And we're targeting families of color. And so it was really something that was very selfishly birthed, really because our children all had these needs, and there were just very few opportunities in our individual counties where where we were able to find, these types of resources and supports. And so it really was something that allowed us to sit down and think about first of all, what are we going to do? So, we knew we wanted to be able to connect with other families. So we knew we wanted a support group. We knew that was missing. We knew it wasn't something that we had attended in our own, communities. And we knew that was missing. So a support group was originally what TELIC was supposed to do. We were going to bring families together. We were going to provide support, and then we were going to help them access resources. That was our initial goal. That was the focus that we were on. And really it started out as something that we just was led by pure passion alone. I think passion is great because it was fueling everything that we were doing. We were just running off of this passion and desire to help families and impact lives, and and so we had a very big vision to expand this organization, to try to reach families just everywhere. And it wasn't something that at first we didn't have a clear plan, I guess is the right way to say it. We just knew we wanted to have support groups and help families, so we just jumped in all 10 toes, and just said, okay, who needs money, who needs whatever. We're just going to start, helping families. And so we absolutely
Kind of
started
grassroots, huh?
very grassroots. We really started just providing support groups right off the bat. We applied to get our business license, with the state of Georgia, and and then we started doing support groups like right away. And so we didn't become a nonprofit until October of that same year, but
Mhm.
we were just very, very determined that we were going to do something. And it started there, and we needed support. So we were like, if we don't do this for nobody else, we're going to be showing up to these support groups
Right.
every
Right.
month. so, so that was really where it started. And narrowing down our mission, narrowing down the mission, narrowing down our vision, determining what is our logo going to look like. As you see, this is our logo. It's a tree. And really trying to get some roots in the ground of how we were going to operate, because that, I think, just starting a business of any kind, I mean, it takes a plan, and so getting a plan together was probably one of the hardest things, is just trying to figure out how we're going to do this.
Yeah.
um,
Yeah.
yeah, and how we're going to make it something that we can sustain, and how are we going to, because all four of us not only had a child with a disability, we're all married, we all had, all these other things that are kind of pulling us away. And so initially we none of us had full-time jobs. So that was great because we did have a little bit more time, um but it was definitely something that required a lot of focus, and really we wanted to separate ourselves from every other nonprofit that's out there. There's millions of businesses, there's millions of nonprofits, but um we're always looking for like this thing that was like, what's going to be different about us, and how are we going to be able to reach families in that way that's different. So yeah, that's you know early days were rough, long days. Because
Yeah. Listen, that brings me to this question. Early assumptions, like when you start out something, maybe it was just going to be a support group, then it
yeah,
turned into something more. And that's what I try to tell my clients now. Like there could be a dream or a passion that you have that turns
yeah,
into more.
absolutely.
What's some early assumptions that had to be unlearned since the organization went a different route?
Well, first of all, we actually thought that we could just do the organization on our passion alone. We
Mm,
literally did. We were so
yeah.
excited to just get out there and make a difference, and we felt like that was enough. It was going to be enough if we just really, really wanted to do it. And we really, really needed a plan. Like, so I think the biggest thing that we when we started this organization, we did not have a business. None of us have business degrees, right? So we don't have any experience running a business. None of us had ever opened a business before, nothing, And so learning like business practices
Yeah.
were something that we didn't initially go in thinking we needed. we, you know, Even just learning like financials, how to do our financials, how to do budgets, there were so many things that we came in blind with because we just were fueled by passion. and we just knew what we wanted to do. And I'm a visionary. So when we started the organization, all of us were a director of something. So I was like the
Mm-hmm.
director of community affairs, and we had another person who was like so we all started picking our roles, right? And um, but we didn't have a good outline for how we would work the organization and how the organization was going to become successful. We needed a strategic plan. We
Mm.
needed to have a financial plan. We needed a fundraising strategy. We needed, you know what I mean? So, I mean, the passion, it's not enough when you want to have longevity. And so
Mhm.
it because that passion turns to burnout quick when
Yeah, yeah.
you're pushing everything, you're pulling everything, you're pouring everything in, when you're doing that and you're doing that daily, weekly, and you don't have a really firm, concrete way that you're going to operate, build and just build. We didn't have a growth plan. Um,
Mm-hmm.
we just didn't, these weren't things that we thought, initially when we started the organization. We just knew what we wanted to do. And mainly we knew the basics is really all we knew. And so I think the things that we had to start learning
Mm-hmm.
was we needed other people. We needed
Oh,
consultants.
that's a good leadership lesson. We talked about that kind of last week where the founders take on the roles and how we need to make sure that our organization or business can run without us. And that requires delegation. So
It
I love
does.
that one.
Well,
The difference, oh, go
I'm,
ahead.
I'm sorry, Yolanda. And real quick, the thing about consultants is, you know, we originally thought we were going to just have this volunteer organization be run by all volunteers and, you know,
In a perfect world.
everybody. I know, right? I know, right? And that people would just hear our story and immediately just volunteer. They would volunteer everything. They would volunteer to be an accountant. They would volunteer to be, we wouldn't have to hire anybody because they would just love the mission and the vision so much.
Right.
And so these were all things that again we had to think about, like, wait a minute. No, we have to hire a CPA. Somebody has to do our taxes. With somebody, there are things that those lessons with just basic business practices.
Mm-hmm.
um I wish, I mean, we learned it kind of later, after we were just running, and realizing, like, wait, how are we not growing at this point? We've got to stop, and we've got to get help. We need other people involved. So yeah, so that was just, man, huge
Well,
lesson.
it's not, you're not alone. Like when you are, like I told you, we talked about this last week. You're not alone when it comes to not being prepared. Most entrepreneurs are not prepared for what they want to see. But what fits your personality is the rosy glasses, right? Because I know you, so I know you like everybody's gonna love it.
Look
Because I
at
know
us.
she is the most upbeat person I have ever met in my entire life. So I can totally see. But I think you walked us through a little bit of this before I can even ask the question. But what changed and how you viewed leadership between the four of you guys from year one to year eight? Now, we already know it went from the rose color, everybody's going to volunteer their time and make this successful, to what? What did you learn the most in the last 8 years of leadership?
Yeah, well, leadership is something that experience has really led us quite a bit. When we started the organization, there were four of us that had lots of time, because we weren't working full-time jobs. Our children were in school during the day. So we were able to have, like, this time during the day to work on this organization. And then we had um, just so many ideas of what we wanted to do. And so we're just running everywhere trying to do all the things we thought were the right thing. But our leadership style and things changed as we started bringing in business consultants to help us learn how to run a business. And those business consultants were they were kind of brutal with us, and they told us, listen, if this is something that you really want to sustain, you've got to have a firmer foundation, and you also have to have really, really clear leadership roles, and you have to have experienced people working with you, in areas that you don't know. So if you don't know about accounting, you don't need to try to do accounting.
Like reality check, right?
If you don't, right, we had to hire somebody for that. If you don't know how to do grant writing, you need to hire. You know what I mean? So there were shifts that kind of occurred as we were going along because we had consultants that were educating us,
Mm,
and we were willing to listen. We were willing to, we were upset at first because we were very, this is like our baby, our
mhm,
nonprofit became like our little baby that we're just nurturing, and we're holding on it real tight, and we don't want anybody to hurt us, hurt our little baby, and or take it away from us. And so, but one of the things that we initially shifted into was we had to get our board. And so we started working on opening up opportunities for people to join us, and to join our board of directors. And then we knew we needed to have a lot more volunteers. So we started
mhm,
creating like a volunteer base and volunteer manuals, and things that just, we started applying for programs that would help our organization really kind of strengthen the foundation of it. And so we were actively sort of looking at ways that we could find, more education for ourselves. And then once that happened, then it was like, okay, now we have to make the shift. Now,
right.
now we can't be all the roles in the organization. I took on the executive director role a few years ago. It was like in 2022, I took that role. And it was a role that we were preparing for. So it wasn't, like, I think when you have a nonprofit and you only have a few people that are running it and that are working in it, it's just kind of like by default, you just do whatever you need to do, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're well suited for that role. It's an empty role and needs to be done. But what we did is we really actually started identifying what does these leadership positions do. We started looking at research. We were working with a program with IBM. We applied to be a part of their program, and they accepted us. And then they were like, "Yeah, we need to do research, and you need to see what are best practices for nonprofits, and what are ways that you're supposed to, build your different platforms, and so I think getting so much information helped us to start to shift into like, okay, what makes sense now? It makes sense
Mhm,
for me to be in this executive director role. It made sense for, our program director, our operations director, our chief financial officer. We have a resource director. I mean, so the leadership roles that we took initially started to move mainly because of our just learning more. That's
mhm.
just really what it was. We just learned more, and we weren't afraid to put ourselves out there and say we didn't know.
Yeah. So I don't think I've ever started a business with other people as a leadership role.
Yeah.
So did talk about that a little bit. Was it easy or hard to fall into your respective places?
Um, it wasn't hard. Mainly, the biggest thing about working with other people is you have to have other people who are like-minded,
Hmm.
that have the same vision, that have the same passion, and that are also willing to learn. And that was something that our organization was incredibly blessed, that the four of us kind of came together. And when we came together, we shared all of those things. We shared this passion. We shared, and it was different for all of us. It was different, but
Mm.
we shared it in a way that we all four of us were aligned when it came to what this mission was, what our vision was, and we were all willing to humble ourselves and determine like what is the best. I mean, we did personality tests, we did, you know, I mean, like we
Mhm.
prepared ourselves to see like, wait a minute, who's going to take this role? Because what are your skills and your strengths? You
Yeah,
know,
that's
we need to know
important.
that. We
Hmm.
needed to know that, you know, if you're not well suited for the role of chief financial officer, we don't need to put you in that role. You know,
Right.
whether you want to do it or not, we need to vet it out and see. And so, um, you know, so going into the leadership positions we were in were not things that we kind of made up on our own. We literally did research. We had other people helping us with research. We brought in
Yeah.
consultants, and then, you know, like I said, we did personality tests. We you know, we were willing. And running a nonprofit is not a thing that you want to do alone. If you have like the vision that we have, it just requires so many people to bring it to light. You know, I mean, it won't. I would never be able to do TELIC empowerment alone.
Oh,
It's
wow.
just, it would never work. I would burn out. I would have burned
Oh,
out way
absolutely. So let's talk about that because you have a heavy mission, right? And the people you serve are in need. So talk
earlier.
about the pressure of being responsible for families and outcomes
Yeah.
in the organization as a leader.
Well, you know what, Yolanda, so now the four founders are also full-time employees. So we all work full-time outside of our nonprofit.
Hmm.
Uh, because our nonprofit is not we're not it's not able to pay us full-time to work in it. So we are working full-time, and then we're burning the midnight oil, and we're doing this nonprofit,
Absolutely. I know
right?
exactly what you
Because
mean.
it is our heart and soul, right?
Right.
Um, and I think what makes it hard for us in this season is the fact that we want so badly to be full time working for this nonprofit, and we have this juggling thing, you know, as mothers do.
Hmm.
We're working a full time job, we're taking care of our children, but we also have a huge responsibility to the families that we serve. Our nonprofit is providing custom resources. So the things that our nonprofit is doing is very, very closely interacting with families directly. So we do a lot of direct care. Our families are getting resources from us directly. We are
Hmm.
doing a parent empowerment group every month where we're trying to, you know, encourage, empower, support, educate these families monthly. We just started our dads group, you know, so now we're pulling in dads too. We want to get them there. And then we are hosting events and we're hosting workshops. It is going on monthly. So we really don't have a break. You know, there's not, you know, there is a huge responsibility for us to ensure that we're upholding this mission every single month, every day. You know, our phones are ringing, when our emails are coming through, that we're responding, that we are helping families, teaching and empowering them, listening to them, including them, and caring for them. And so the weight of that, it's definitely something that I think the four of us are easier to carry. It's easier for the four of us to carry together because it doesn't fall on one person's shoulder to do. And it helps that we have four of us because we're able to balance out responsibilities. So if our resource director goes out because she's on a break or vacation or she's sick, or, you know, we have a backup plan for that. You know, um, if there's a family emergency that happens, you know, and now our chief financial officer is out for a month, and that's happened
Hmm.
many times. We have had family emergencies and different things going on, um and you know, we've had to shift all the weight to, you know, amongst the four of us. But that's kind of like the benefit of us having, you know, four founders, four people who are just like the backbone, that are kind of carrying the weight of the organization. And it helps that we have a plan, so, you know, how we're going to keep moving forward. I mean, it's the families are always our top priority. We want these families to be, I mean, encouraged, and we want them to feel supported. We want them to be welcomed. We want them to come to these events and feel like there is somebody in the world that cares about them and their child. And um, it does, you know, it keeps TELIC is one of those things that, I mean, I dream about TELIC. You know, I,
Wow,
you
that's
know,
passion.
you know what I mean? I walk around, or I'm at my full-time job thinking about things to do for TELIC, you know, because this is how much this is embedded into um just my own personal purpose. And then the great thing about this is I know three other people are doing the same thing.
Mm,
You know, it's not just me, you know. So we are chatting with each other, you know, daily, kind of like, hey, did y'all hear about this? Hey, we should do that, you know, different things. So so the weight of the families and the responsibility of doing all the work is so much lighter knowing that there's four of us, and it's
yeah,
so much easier knowing that we are all faith-based. I mean, the organization is not a faith-based organization, but the four of us have very strong faith. We you know, we pray together, we uplift each other, and we know how to really tap into our spirituality in order to get strength, and you know, and to empower one another. And so there's just, yeah, so it's not, it's hard, but it's manageable because
well,
we've got, yeah,
well,
we've got,
let's jump in to your lived experience
yeah.
as a teacher, right? And so, tell us how parenting children with exceptionalities. And honestly, that's the first time I heard that is when I read your bio. I was like, see, I'm getting educated already.
Exceptionalities, I know, right? You're like, wow, okay.
I mean, I love it because I will never use another word ever again. Like that is my lesson. But how did parenting children with exceptionalities shape your decision making for TELIC?
Yeah, so it shapes all of our decision making.
Hmm.
My children are very different. I mean, all children are different, right? Because they're all unique and that kind of thing. But I think when you have a child that has a disability of any kind, it changes your parenting. You know, it
Mm,
changes you as a person. It challenges you. It challenges your parenting style. It forces you to now have to do something different, you know, and it's not something that's typical. So it may be very different from what every other parent might be doing in your friend group or at schools or things
right.
like that. And so I think you know, my children, my son is dyslexic, you know, he has dyslexia. You know, I have a daughter with ADHD and anxiety disorder, and then my youngest has a rare chromosome disorder that she's also colorblind. She's got some medical issues that we kind of had to deal with, um, and so it makes you more compassionate. It makes you
Mm,
more patient.
mhm.
It makes you more flexible. You know, it makes you, I think, just you see the world differently when you have to adjust to a child that can't do something like everyone else can, you know,
Mm,
or a child that is not, that everyone is telling you, oh, they're not going to be able to do this. And you're just like fighting to prove them wrong, you know, you know, because that's where that advocacy kind of steps in, and you're just like, no, no, they're going to do just like everybody else is doing, you know, they're going to be able to play, they're going to be able to do, you know. And so it builds a strength in you, I think, that is very different than when I had my first child, and she was gifted, and she was, you know, you know, she was just all the things that you want, smart and just everything. And so you know, and so when I had my children that had some different challenges that just she never experienced, it was a challenge for me. But I think what it's done is it has allowed us all to be able um to really look at our parents from a light of compassion. We've been able to
mm,
serve our families. We're relatable, you know, because we know exactly what they're dealing with when they're coming to us and they're saying the school said this. They're coming to us and they're saying I want to take my child to church, but I can't because there's no one at the, they can't go to children's church. They can't watch them. There's so many opportunities for us to now show parents that we care because we know we're living it. We're still living it. We're still in the same boat. We're just like you. We're not
Yeah.
trying to be the experts of another child's story. No, we're the experts of our own, and we're empowering parents to be the experts of theirs, and so we're wanting I think TELIC was absolutely birthed out of that relatability that we have, that
Mhm.
experience, that opportunity that we were given to have these unique children that are I mean, they're precious, they're beautiful, they are quirky, they have all the things that maybe other people can't see. They have hidden strengths and talents that others don't see, and now we have this opportunity to advocate for them. So um absolutely, every single experience with my own children, even teaching. I used to teach special education in Fulton County, and just working in school districts, working at children's hospitals. All of that has definitely shaped my opportunity to open this nonprofit and work with families. So yeah,
Let me
that's
jump in there and say something that when you deal with a passion like yours, a passion project like yours that became now a business and a nonprofit, and you have children that are the same, or you're serving families that you like that are a reflection of you basically. How do you lead through emotion without being simply led by it? Because
yeah.
as the executive director, you may have to make decisions that maybe are not the most popular, right?
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Emotions are hard.
Yeah, I can even imagine, or I can't even imagine, right?
I know emotions are hard because we're moms. So that's the other thing. We're four mothers. So, we are full of nurturing, compassion, and, kindness. And we want to protect our families, and we want to help everybody. We want to help everybody. Everybody comes to our doorstep. We're just like, come on, baby, Um, but when it comes to decision making, I think what happens a lot of times is we've created a decision matrix for the organization that
Ooh,
helps us. Yeah, we had to do that because if we did not have a decision matrix to help guide our decisions, we would absolutely be going with our emotions like so many times. So
yeah,
many times we would just say, "You know what? But they're so sweet." You know, you know, we should help them, because so right now our organization serves 10 counties in the state of Georgia, which is fantastic. I mean, it's amazing. It's beautiful that we have the opportunity to serve these 10 counties. There are almost, oh my gosh, over 100 counties in Georgia
oh, for
that we have
sure.
been able to connect with yet, right? So when places come to us and they say, "Hey, you should come and do something over here," we know that we have a responsibility to work within the 10 counties and to work with partners that have partnered with us as a priority, because we have a service range and a service area and a target market, that we work with. So decisions like that are hard for us to make because we just want to help everybody. We just want to
Right.
impact everybody. But we know that if that those decisions, if business wise for us, again, it's going to lead us to burnout. If we are so emotionally driven and when it comes to doing business, there has to be a line, and so we have to. So these decision matrix that we've created, it helps us draw the line. It helps us to stay in the boundary of what's business and professional, and and it separates us from making personal decisions, because our personal decision would always be yes. Like if you ask me my personal decision, it's going to always be yes.
Well, I love the decision matrix. I love that, especially if you have partners. So that's
Yeah.
always fair. I have a question that we're jumping back into. Not I have a question, but the audience has a question. Jumping back into systems. It says, "Do you believe that the role of AI
Mhm.
could nonprofit organizations with systems that, okay, I read
Could
it
help.
word for
I think
word. Let
it's
me read it again. Do you believe that the role of AI could help, let's say that,
yeah.
nonprofit organizations with systems and make it
Yeah.
feel lighter, the work
Yes.
lighter?
Yes.
Yes.
So I completely and I'm going to tell you, we have not been a heavy AI, usage. We have not done a lot of AI usage. We just recently had a training, an AI training with IBM to help us learn how to utilize AI because
Mhm.
um, you're right. I mean, technology is our future, and things that we were doing before, we were doing it all manually. I mean, it was time consuming, it was exhausting. There were so many times that when you're doing stuff by just like manually calculating things, manually,
Mhm.
there's the room for error is so much larger, right? So, utilizing AI, really appropriately using AI,
Right, right.
it will absolutely help our business. I mean, we've just started using AI like for messaging and for emails and for even like tallying information for us as well as helping us to create like um, charts and calendars and graphics and things that would normally take us a lot more time to do. So I mean,
Yeah.
absolutely, I'm for it. I'm still learning it. So I don't know it well enough to be an expert in it yet, but I definitely think it's the future, and we've just got to make these shortcuts when we can get them. And so we're definitely branching into AI at this point. I definitely want to learn more. I just want to know how to work smarter and not harder here. So
Yeah, I
so
think
good
when you
question.
talk about navigating systems that can protect, including AI and building systems in your organization or your business, is definitely going to protect your personal capacity, right? You just talked
Absolutely.
about all of the founders being moms and wives and
Right.
full time workers. So, doing things like AI, I'm not a master at AI, but I love AI.
Live using
Just
AI.
even building a show, like I'm like, yo, master prompt me, please. It may take a little bit of time to like to create what they
Yeah.
call the master prompt, but it's almost like just building a system of how to do it every single time the same way. I
Mm.
love that. In Toastmasters, I wanted to, and I was going to do it the long way. I lead an organization of about 40
Hmm.
people who report up, right? And so I
Mhm.
wanted to uh, report or one-on-one them each and create this personalized plan for the next 60, 30, 60, 90 days. I was going to do it by hand because I'm old school. And someone said, why don't you throw that thing in the chat GPT? I was like, duh. So honestly, once you learn how to use it well and not use it as a weapon, but use it as an asset, it is going to, I totally agree with Makisha. Thank you for tuning in, Makisha, that it will be an asset to you. So keep learning, even if it's bit by bit, because it's going to be an amazing tool and asset to create systems for you.
Absolutely.
And even in reach outreach projects too. I've done that for our church. And then I want to shout out our church because you made me really feel like we're doing something. So my church is Spirit and Truth, and I work with the youth department. And in the youth department, we have a place called Spiritville. And Spiritville is ultimately what we know as the children's church. And you
Okay.
said something so key. And because I'm so closely connected with that, you said, well, parents can't send their kids to children's church because they don't have a space for
Mm.
kids that are exceptional.
Yeah.
And our church does. We call them the shooting stars. So shout out to Spirit and Truth that has shooting stars class in our Spiritville Sunday school. We don't call it Sunday school anymore. That's old school, but that's essentially what it is, Sunday school. And
Oh,
so I am so
Yolanda!
excited about that because I mean, somebody had the foresight to think about that. And
Yolanda,
we definitely have different kids and different disabilities, but they all come
I
down and they love it. They love being down there actually, and their parents actually love it because it was like I can actually worship
I
and
can go
not
to worship.
I can
Yeah.
actually worship, right? I can go to the altar. I can,
Yeah.
so they love it too. And so I am very proud that you said it as an advocate and you've been in this thing for quite some time because if our oldest are almost the same age, then your
Yeah.
son is good and 20. He's got to
Yeah.
be 20. Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
he's
got
about
to.
21. He's about to
Yeah,
turn
he's got to
21.
be too. You've been in it for a while, and so that just made my heart glad that we are doing the right thing in the space of spirit and truth. And shout out to my pastor, Pastor Mark Moore, and all the leaders
Yay!
over there. I
Yay!
want to talk about redefining success beyond visibility and growth. And so you said, well, even at 8 years, we're not fully funded where we can all be there full time. But is there a way to define success by not just that monetary value? Talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we started the organization, um, we started creating our own success measures, and none of it had to do with funding. So
Mm.
success
You
for us,
guys are like shout out your founders right quick because y'all is all about systems. Shout
I know, right?
out all the founders
So,
right quick.
so I am okay. So I'm the executive director, as you know,
Mhm.
but our operations manager, her name is Bettina Newton. Our resource director is named Taisha Davis, and our chief financial officer is named Chrislina Edgerton.
I
So the
mean, listen, y'all put systems in place early. That is
yeah,
very
really early.
impressive.
Well,
Yeah.
really early because that's the thing. Like we knew we had to get data. So that's the other
Mhm.
thing. We knew we were going to need data because we knew eventually we were going to apply for grants and funds and things like that. So pretty early on, we started creating these success measures and determining what was important to us. What was always important to us, and what is still important to us, is families. How many families
Mm.
are we impacting? How many families feel like they are now more educated, more empowered? They feel like they've been listened to. They feel like they've been cared for. And it's so it all goes back to our mission. And honestly, I mean, when we first started our support group, not a single soul came to our first group. Not one. But our success then was, okay, how many families, if we record this group, how many families will watch it? So,
Mm.
because they weren't there in person, because it was an in-person group before COVID. So and not, like I said, not a single person came, but we were like, that's okay, because we're going to record everything we do here, and we want to see how many people watch it if we put it on our Facebook page. And so our success keeps changing and growing because it's really based on impact. It's based on impact. It's based on, even if we only have about $10 or whatever to use, we're going to have the program. So
Mm.
funds, so funds are huge because we always need funding, right? We always need. It's a nonprofit. We always need funding, but it's funding is not going to stop us from doing the work.
Wow.
Funding has never stopped us from doing the work. Now, how much we can do, how well we can do it, yes, if we have more money, there's more we can do, clearly, but it will never shut down a opportunity for us to do the work. Because we will do the work with no money, we'll do the work with $1 million. Um, and the goal here, I mean, financially for us, yes, we want to eventually be working for this nonprofit full time. We know that's going
Mhm.
to be that's going to take time. That's going to take time planning. It's going to take some strategic partnerships and things like that, to
Definitely.
probably get there, but until we get there, our success right now is how many families are now able to advocate better for their child because they came to this program that we did.
Wow. I
You
love
know,
that we turn success into something that is not monetary. Now, Lord, we do want to have some monetary success. Let's
we
be
do need
clear.
monetary. Yeah, we do need money. Yeah, we do need
We
money.
need money. We talked about that last week too. Ministry costs money.
It
We
always
advocacy
does.
costs money too, right? So, Lord,
Yeah,
don't hear us clear. We do need someone out here that hears our voice to fund this program.
absolutely.
I could think of two strategic partnerships, so I will connect after we stop
Absolutely.
going live because I could think of two. One thing
Yeah,
my mom always says, she works for Georgia Family Connection Partnerships, and she always
beautiful.
say Georgia has 159 counties. So I know that number off the top of my head. 159 counties. And her program is in I believe, all of them. And
Wow.
if you didn't know, fun fact, Georgia has the highest amount of counties only because you talked about serving counties, but the highest amount of counties right after Texas, and
Wow.
Texas is huge,
It,
like in comparison to Georgia, right? And so
wow.
Georgia is filled with needs
Yeah.
that you guys have to serve. So definitely want to connect you to some people I can think of right off the rip that have nonprofits. So we will definitely do that. So shout out to my mom who talks about 159 counties in Georgia that the Georgia Family Connection Partnership
I love it.
serves. She's
I
been doing
love
that for
it. I
25
love
years.
it.
Yeah, I call her nonprofit the nonprofit that ain't the nonprofit. Like they say they the nonprofit, but they got money, money. Don't kill me, mom. They got money. So we gonna find out where the money is because they got money and they serve children. Okay. So hey mom, call
Love
me.
it.
Just saying.
Love it. Love it. I need that
I'll
connection. I
let
need
me
that
tell
connection.
you, I'm telling you, my network is dope. I didn't realize it till I really started this show. I think I understood it a little bit, but once I start talking to people in these capacities, I'm like, wow, you guys are doing some amazing things. People we have eaten and broken bread with, share birthday parties, and then when we grow up after
When we
20
grow
years,
up. When we grow
because
up.
me and Lisa have been knowing each other for at least 20 years.
At
Um,
least.
at
Ugh,
least,
at
I ain't
least.
gonna tell you how long because I know how long, but I ain't gonna say it. But at least 20 years. That to see us grow in our different directions in such a powerful and impactful way is
Yeah.
just such a great, great blessing. All right,
Yeah.
I don't want to forget this part. Let's
Okay.
talk about the wisdom that you've earned over the 8 years. All right, we're gonna close out with the wisdom
Wisdom.
you've learned.
With
What
wisdom.
didn't you know? What do you know now in your leadership position that you did not know at the beginning?
So what I know now is it's okay to say no.
Oh, it's a full sentence.
Again, it's okay to say no. It's also more important to prioritize your family,
Ooh, that's a
your
good one.
yeah, family, your spiritual life, your spiritual health, your well-being, your mental health, before your business and
That
before
makes you a better business person, doesn't it?
yeah, yeah.
When you're well.
Because you know what? We get into these businesses and they become we own them, they
Yeah,
become a part of
yeah,
us and we just want to throw everything. We want to throw everything into the business because we want it so badly to be successful.
yeah.
And and a lot of times we're willing to sacrifice. We're willing to sacrifice our mental health, our emotional health, our psychological health, our family relationships, our marriages, whatever it takes, our money.
Mhm.
We're willing to throw our own
Now
money
we
to
will when we start a business. Won't we throw all the money to it?
we
Oh
throw
my
all of it.
God.
We throw everything. And those things I realized very quickly, no, no, because that's out of order.
Mhm.
And if you really want something to be built correctly, I mean, you cannot have those priorities out of check. You have to and take care of yourself first. One of the things I also learned was you can't do it alone. You can't. You've got to have a
Mm,
support system. You have
yeah.
to have a network. You have to have connections. You need to know people, and people need to know you. Um,
Mm,
you need to be able to support other organizations and businesses. So, and that's important. It's important for you to celebrate other wins when other people are
mm.
winning. When other people are doing the thing that you want to do, it's important to celebrate that. It's important to support it as
Yeah,
well.
be in those spaces. That's what
Yeah.
I just said. Like I
Yeah.
know some people in nonprofit that's doing some things with children. Get
Yeah.
connected.
Yeah.
That's the best way to grow is to have a network that's
Yeah.
willing to share information. I agree.
Yeah, and honestly, in the nonprofit realm, there's no competition. So we're all trying, like in my space here, the goal here is to help families. However, that
Hmm.
means so I'm partnering with people not because they're not my there's nothing that
There's no
another
competition.
organization is doing. Mm-mm. There's
No.
nothing another organization is doing. Um, that's going to be a competition, a competing thing for me because we just want to help the family. And if we could connect with somebody else that's doing it too, then let's do it together.
I love
So
I love
so there's
that.
so it helps us to build relationships. It helps us to build partnerships. It helps us to help other people and help one another. And The other thing I would say is balance. It's balance and it's boundaries. It's
Boundaries.
establishing firm boundaries, um,
Yeah.
and it's understanding what balance looks like and when you're out of balance. Because sometimes that means you need to step away. You need to stop. You need to regroup. You need to recharge. You need to refuel. You need to
Back to that wellness.
yeah, you need to reignite. You need to do something else because it becomes toxic for the organization and the business that you're running if you're doing it from a space where you are not well.
So,
Which
Lisa, has your leadership evolved over time? Do you
I think
believe that your leadership identity has evolved?
I think it has. I think I came into this organization just very, very like with blinders on almost. Like I just, it's just one way. Like, hey, let's just help families. I don't know how we're gonna do it, but we're just gonna help families. Um, and I took the lead very early on as well because there's actually two of us at first that actually came together to decide on an organization, and then we brought two others. We recruited two people to come and help us do it, and so I felt very much like I need to make this happen. We need to get this
Mm,
happening. So, but now I don't feel like I need to do all of the work.
I love that. I
So
love that.
yeah, it's not for me to make TELIC successful. We have put TELIC in the hands of many people, like as far as being able to get education and understanding about how to run a business. But we've also recognized that it's bigger than us. It's not just about
Mm,
really isn't. And so that's why us coming together as a team, having a collective vision and praying together, knowing that we're being led by something bigger than us to create something much larger than what we imagined it was initially going to start out to be. That's what keeps us going. It's not because I just have a plan. It's so much bigger, it's so much greater than me. So but yeah, if I could tell myself now
yeah.
things, if I could tell myself then what I learned now, I would tell myself to slow down, and
Mm,
I would tell myself to be okay with taking your time, building something correctly. It's not a
mm,
rush. Where we don't need to
with
rush
that.
to a finish line here.
Mm.
Build it slow. Build it
And
slow.
build it right the first time, so you don't have to redo it, right?
Because we made a lot of mistakes early on that we were just like, and we're still early. I mean, we're 8 years old, so we're still young. We're still in elementary school, but
Like the teacher.
elementary school right now. But yeah, so I would slow down. I would take my time. I would create those boundaries. I would make sure that my foundation is well suited. I would get those consultants in and early on
Mm,
and educate and do the research, and set the programs together in a way that they can build, and learn. Sit down and learn something, before.
that's a good segue, though. That's a good segue into your as we close out your advice for leaders building mission-driven work over time. So you were touching on that. Go ahead and close us out with
Yeah,
your advice for leaders building mission-driven work over time.
I would say allow your passion to fuel your desire to get more education and to get more understanding about your mission, your vision, your plan, what you want to serve, what you want to sell, whatever the business is that you're trying to do. If you have the vision for it, it can happen. It can happen, but you have to have more than just passion to fuel it.
Mm,
It's going to require more out of you than you've ever put into anything else. When something is in you that you know you have to do, it's going to pull everything out of you, and you have to decide how that plan is going to roll out. And so, get people on your team. Don't do it alone. Get people on your team. You know, get advice, get wise counsel as you are going along this journey, so that when you make those mistakes, you have somebody that can consult with, that is going to provide wisdom and grounding. Get the truth. Don't have your friends be your wise counsel. Get professional that that have done this, that have built something. Read. There's so much reading, just reading. There's so many things now that I wish I had done before starting TELIC, and now those are some of those things. It's just surrounding myself with people who have like-minded visions, like-minded passion, surrounding myself with positivity, and
Mm.
not allowing negativity to enter my space. When I'm trying to do something, I need to have a positive support system around me. And I need to just have the truth. I need truth tellers in my corner, that are going to help me see when this is, now you're getting off from the vision, that are just going to tell me the truth.
Refocus, Lisa.
Tell me the truth. Tell me straight. Just tell it to me straight. But you'll be surprised at how much, like, people want, a lot of times you want to hear the good news, but you don't always want to hear the truth. You don't want to hear what's going to help you and what's going to change you. And so it is a necessity for you to surround yourself with people, and with really educated people, but also people that have walked this path. They've done this and they've done it successfully. They're at the level that you want to get to. you know
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Having mentors in that area, like you said, networks with other nonprofits or others in that same county, or yeah,
yeah,
I totally agree. I know
yeah,
you got some great things happening in TELIC in this first quarter of the year. Tell us a little
right.
bit as we close out of some of the things that you guys are going to be doing and how others can get involved.
Yeah. So every single month we do a parent empowerment group. It is every third Saturday. So we just had our group. We just had our group for this month, for the month of January. But every single third Saturday, parents can log in. It is virtual, so you don't have to
Mhm.
drive anywhere. You don't have to have childcare. You just get on your phone and your computer. But we have a topic. It's topic based. So we have a topic every single month that is meaningful to families with children with disabilities. We have a speaker usually that comes to educate the families a little bit in the first half, and then it turns into a support group after that. And so parents can talk, we can share, we can
Oh, I
affirm.
love that. So you have education and then the support group
Yeah,
where they can hear
yeah,
their
yeah,
concerns and things like that.
yeah,
I
yeah.
love
So they
this.
can talk and
So
laugh,
simple.
ask
So simple.
questions. It's so
Yeah.
easy, right? And so parents and families who have a child with a disability, or parents and caregivers who are suspecting. So they're not sure, they don't know yet if their child has a disability, but they think something is happening, or maybe, you know what I mean? And they have questions. This is that group for you. So that group is for you.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
and our website, everything is based on our website. So our website, we don't have a physical location, but if you go to our website, you can register for our parent empowerment group. You can also register for resources if you apply for resources. We do custom resources. So we do the education for you. You do an intake process, and then we provide the resources that you need that are missing. So we also, and
I
referrals.
don't think I have the website, Lisa. Say the website
The
for us.
website is
Mhm.
www.telicempowerment.org. www.telicempowerment.org. And so that group is happening every single month. We also have a fathers group that is just for dads. It's catered for the men. We want these males to feel like they're just as supported as their wives or their mothers of their children. And so we have a
We
fathers
leave
group.
out the dads often, so kudos
We
to you for
do.
doing that. We
We
leave out the dads.
do.
Yeah.
So those dads are meeting every third Wednesday with a father that it has a child with a disability that facilitates it. And then we have a birthday party coming up in March. And so we are hoping to
Hmm.
yeah, we have a community birthday party. It is inclusive. It is open to all disabilities. So if your child has any disability at all, they can come to this party. We started doing the birthday party after our very first year because parents were telling us that their child does not get invited to birthday parties. They didn't.
Oh, I
Their
could see that though. I can see that. I
Yeah,
can
they
see
did,
that.
they don't have friendships, or they don't just get, or they just really don't have people that are inviting them. And so
Wow.
this community party, it's a
That's
celebration
so
of our
awesome.
founding. And we were founded in March. We were founded March 24th, but so it's a celebration of our founding, but it's also a chance for us to have a party that all of our kiddos with disabilities can come
So
to.
is it Telic's birthday or
It,
is it just a
it
birthday
is.
party? It's
It's
also
both.
Telic's birthday too.
It's
So
both.
you'll be 9 years old or are you 8 years old this
8.
year?
So we're about to
Okay.
turn 8. We're about to
Okay.
turn 8. And yeah, it's Telek's birthday, and this is how we celebrate it. So this inclusive party is fully designed for children with disabilities. We have a sensory room and art room, quiet rooms. We have bouncy houses and all kinds of stuff. I mean,
So awesome.
yeah, we have resources for parents. We try to make this party as open and available for every single disability to come and have fun, and there'll be something for them, and something for the parents as well. And before I go, TELIC goes through the age of 30. So our service age is
Wow.
ages 3 through 30. So everything that we do, it also caters to our young adults, our children who have graduated, they're transitioning into adulthood, and that is a very scary time for
Was
parents.
a tricky time, right?
It's a
That's a
scary.
tricky time for them.
Yeah, it's scary. Parents don't know what to do a lot of times with an adult with a disability. They lose a lot of their therapies and things that they had as children in school because they're not in public school anymore. And so we recognize that. So that's something that we always try to include our young adults as well, to give them something to do. That's right. Yeah, it's important. It is. It is. So definitely, if you've got a child between those ages, 3 and 30, any disability, you need some support, you need education, you need some information. You want to come to an event, and you want to come to our group, jump onto our website and check us out. We also are on Facebook, Instagram, we're on LinkedIn, we have a YouTube channel. Yeah, we so you can find us on social media. Follow us for sure to get updates on things that are coming up and when things are opening and that kind of thing. And we hope, and we're always open to anyone who wants to volunteer with us. And we're always open to donors, in-kind donations of any kind, any type of funding that someone wants to provide for us. Of course, we are open to receive any of those things, but definitely we're hoping to get parents just involved. So yeah, that's it.
Well, you have taught me so much. But one thing you have taught me or really opened my eyes to is like leadership that lasts is rarely loud. It's consistent. It may even be costly and it could be deeply personal.
Mm.
Tonight, Lisa Lake's journey reminds us that leadership is not just about the vision, it's about staying when it could be easier to just walk away, learning when we to adjust, and then growing into the responsibility over time without rushing. If tonight's sit down calls you to reflect on your own leadership journey, sit with that. Growth often begins in quiet moments. And if you're ready to turn lived experience into sustainable leadership with execution. And all I keep hearing Lisa say is systems. Write that down. Systems. I invite you to explore the idea to income. So, idea to income is one of those things that I've started in this new year to help entrepreneurs or budding entrepreneurs or those with a vision or a passion turn it into basically income, but really to give them strategic tools to do it the right way the first time. So we are aligned in that place. You can jump into school.com, ideal to income /about to learn more information about that. We thank you, Lisa Lake. You know, I always want to put an S on your name. Lisa Lake, more than one. One thing that we didn't talk about, and I don't want to, we were closing out the show, but I have to shout out Lisa Lake, who is also a cosplay, I don't know, what do you artist. And so when
Yeah.
she talked about really having balance and doing other things, you wouldn't look at her because she's so like, buttoned up right here. But find her on Instagram, okay? Lisa loves cosplay, and see how much fun she really has when her hair is down and she's not in the
Yes.
TELIC shirt, okay? I love that about you. You just never know what you're gonna get with Lisa Lake, okay?
Listen, balance, balance. I'm telling you, you
Balance
gotta
is
have fun.
important.
You
She's
gotta have
amazing.
fun. You gotta work. You gotta play. You gotta do all the
This is
things.
why the smiles keep staying on your face, and we sending all of our love to your family, your beautiful children, and your very down to earth husband who's been standing with you for 24 years, the chief prince king of your house. We love him. Shout out to him. Listen, here's our call to action to our listeners. Reflect on leadership lessons you learned the hard way. It's okay that we learn them. No is a complete sentence. Balance is mandatory. And share this episode with a leader building for the long term. We'll see you next time on the Sit Down with Yolonda Jay. Good night.